Krauthammer, author of the big book, Things That Matter. All right, let's take Iraq first. Some believe al-Qaeda and Iran are pretty much running that country now that we don't have any presence there outside of the green zone in our embassy. What say you?
Well, it's very clear what happened to Iraq after we left. I mean, Obama says he ended the Iraq War. No, it was David Petraeus who ended the Iraq War, and we won. The Civil War was over. Al-Qaeda was utterly defeated, indeed humiliated, when the Sunni tribesmen turned against their own co-religionist in al-Qaeda. The government in Baghdad, by Maliki, actually rolled up extremist Shiite militias. We were in a position to conclude a strategic agreement where Iraq would have been our ally. Obama had one job to do, 3 years to do it. He failed. I just was reading in the New York Times that Iraq has become an air corridor for Iran to supply heavy equipment to the genocidal government in Baghdad. And the word they used in the Times, to U.S. consternation.
Yeah, well, Iraq doesn't have an air force
what
to
did you
stop
expect?
Iran.
Exactly.
Right.
Let me
ask you one question. When this was going on, when the United States and the Obama administration was negotiating to leave a force in Iraq, all right, which is what everybody who is sane wanted to do. You wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. Our military advisors, Colonel Hunt, wanted to do that. Maliki wouldn't give them immunity from prosecution from the local authorities. That was the big sticking point. And I said that was legit because you can't have U.S. forces being arrested by Iraqis and tried in their system.
That was the cover story. There were ways around that. It had been done in other instances. The Bush administration had worked its way around that. The fact is that we insisted, when Obama was negotiating, on having a force. He ended up at about 3,000 to 5,000. The Iraqis immediately understood that's not serious. 3,000 to 5,000 Americans, they're going to be spend their whole time protecting themselves.
Right,
like
you
the
had to have
Marines.
20, 25,000.
Exactly, and Obama rejected that. The other part about this is we insisted, this is absurd, that any agreement be ratified by the parliament in Iraq. The Iraqis said, don't try that, we don't need that, we'll do it our way. So we're insisting on the constitutional niceties of the Iraqi system. We could have had the agreement.
All right,
the
so
problem
bottom
is
line,
Obama,
what you are saying is
Obama wanted to get out.
He
that
wanted
was
to get
the
out. He
promise
didn't
made.
care what the unintended consequences of that
And now
might
we
be.
know what they are.
It's a pretty serious charge you're lodging at the president, Charles. That's
Look,
pretty serious.
what I'm saying is that, and this is nothing new.
No,
this
but it's a serious
understood.
charge because of all the people who died and all the money we spent. You're saying that the president knowingly undermined a policy that might have helped what the USA gained in Iraq. He knowingly did it, but didn't tell the American people that he was doing it. That's what you're alleging tonight.
What I'm saying is he knowingly did it because he felt it was a higher either obligation or political achievement. You can put any word you want to get out of Iraq, to honor the commitment he thinks he made in the campaign than any other strategic consideration.
All right.
And he thought that that would work for him. The fact is we've given Iraqi airspace over to Iran. We've given essentially the running of Iraq over to Iran because when we leave a place and we create a vacuum, the bad guys come in. And the bad guys are now, as you mentioned, also in on the Sunni side. They have now taken over parts of Fallujah, parts of Ramadi, parts of western Iraq. They already control a lot of northern Syria. They right now have control of more territory, al-Qaeda does, than at any time in its history anywhere.
I know. It's a very bleak situation. All right, we got a minute left. The Iran nuke deal kicks in next week. You have been on this program saying that you believe this deal is terrible for the USA. Just give me a 30-second encapsulation of that.
It absolutely guarantees that Iran will go nuclear. The deputy foreign minister of Iran just said a few days ago, we have already won. We're fighting on our court. They have accepted the right to enrichment, which we have. And once you accept the right to enrichment, that means they're going to have a stockpile that will leave them a month or two at any point in the history until the end of time, a month or two to break out and develop a bomb. So the Middle East now is going to have to live with. This is even if everything in the agreement is adhered to. Even if all of that happens, Iran is now a threshold nuclear state ready to break out, and that's why the Arabs in the Gulf are running around with their hair on fire. They are terrified, and you watch how they are now going to go one by one, cap in hand, on bended knee, to try to appease Iran and to try to eliminate any vestige of support of the United States. They'll have nowhere else to go.
All right, Charles Krauthammer, everyone. Fact